Welcome to my Wings of Liberty ladder games, where compared to all the cheesers and one-base tryhards, we're hardly trying. The reason I say that is because I like to play a more macro-oriented style, always taking an expand fast, except in the PvP matchup where that's actually not possible. Now, I do understand where people are coming from with their one-base bullshit, because number one, it does put you on even footing against someone else who is going for one-base bullshit. And number two, it's much harder to defend that shit if you're doing a fast expand than if you are pulling it off. And also it makes for very much shorter games, so that it's much easier to cycle through your games if you're working towards your portraits or just want a large number of wins. But it does make for obnoxiousness, so I would not forgive you just because it makes sense. It's like, oh, I like being a douchebag because of self-interest. Well, that's great. You're still a douchebag. Now, this matchup is the worst matchup in my opinion because of how much Zerglings tends to run around. Now, this being a 4-player map means that my opponent will not be scouting me in time, so I should be able to get the 15 hatch down without too much problems. And I will of course send the drone scout, very very important in ZVZ, and also the overlord scout, very very important in ZVZ. I don't know if this map allows for close by ground spawns, but I will send the overlord just in case. Send overlord to actually 2 bases, just to increase the chance that I will get that scout down. Okay, so now we're making drones, basically. Now, I like to go for 15 hash, even though it's an unsafe opening, because you will lose 3 minutes of real time if you do get denied that hash, or lose because of the hash. That's of course 3 minutes of blizzard time plus Q times, which is approximately 3 minutes of real time. And if you do lose that game, then your MMR will go down, at which point your next game will be against a lower level opponent, which will mean it's easier. So you have an easier time with the games that you actually care about, or at least in my opinion. See, I like to play the game because the game is fun, not to get a lot of wins. Although getting wins is nice. Oh shit. Just made 16 instead of pool, which is fine. We're not playing at a level where that matters. Now, the double injects that I do like to do is designed in a way to get the Zerglings out before your opponent gets his Banelings out. And unless, of course, he goes to ignore the Zergling speed and just goes for a Banelings nest, and it seems like he's going for hatch first as well. Now, normally I would say that that's a bad idea for me to do garbage against this, but 15 hatch can also just mean a large flow of Zerglings in the same manner that I have. I used to assume that because people go for that 15 hash, they're going for a long macro game, but many players have proven me wrong by going for that garbage double inject that I've adopted. So you're gonna get none of that from me. I'm just gonna double inject or kill you. Or like, die trying, I guess. Okay, so what do we have here? We have enough minerals for this. Now the good thing about his hatch first is that he won't be getting his Zerglings as fast, which means that I don't need to get any Zerglings at all because my Zerglings will be done in time to defend should he try to put on any pressure with Zerglings.
We require more minerals.
It seems like his scout is, I guess, in the right place. I'll put my scout here to keep an eye on this crap again. I'll get an overlord and also Zergling speed. I'll rally all the drones here. So I did, of course, try to defend this Zergling garbage, but it just doesn't seem to work because Zerglings are very good at tearing shit apart. And defending with spines and queens is good and all, but the thing is, the queens and spines are there to tank, not deal damage. So it's very, very frustrating when the Zerglings just tear up the things and leave. I feel like people get more obnoxious with Zerglings every single day. Okay, just get that on the way, kill the Overlord. I don't think he knows what he's doing. Since he's going to lose the Overlord, which will be able to put a pause on his Zergling production. Also, it'll put a pause on my production because I'm not injecting, but whatever. Not a big deal. Get another Zergling, or get another Overlord. I do like to go for 1 round of Zerglings only, because any more then is sort of overcommitting. I do like to lead with that 1 in case he puts Banelings on top of his ramp. And in the base, I will put down spines to defend against his counter Zergling attack. Or Zergling counter attack.
We require more minerals.
Okay, so let's see what kind of damage we can do with this. Seems like he's not moved out with his Zerglings just yet, so that's good. If we can get the Queen, then we'll be in good shape. Seems like he's opted to go for the Roach Warren. So I managed to get one Queen for our trouble, which I guess is okay for now. The main problem we have is roaches, basically. And I feel like that's going to be a major concern for us. So I'll get that second Queen for defense, and I think we'll be in good shape. Seems like he's coming out with a large flood of Zerglings, but we do have units in position to defend, hopefully. We'll get this Queen down here. So this Zergling attack did a whole ton of nothings, which is good for me because now I can move towards Mutalisks. And that Zergling attack wasn't really cheap for him at all. So basically what I'm saying is we're in good shape. So going on with the Zergling crap, seems like Overlord's incoming. We'll get that Spire in position so that we can do any attack with Mutas if we do ready for that Muta attack should we so choose to have it. A little bit low on the drone count. That'll saturate the natural and this will saturate the main. Of course not enough Overlord, so let's just go ahead and get that. A little bit low on the gas count because I fumbled a little bit in terms of the macro and doing the Zergling garbage, but that's fine. Seems like he's going for the Roach as his tech choice, which is not exactly a bad idea. But I feel like the large amount of spines that I have should make it very, very even. If he so chooses to attack with a large number of roaches. Let's see what we can do with these Zerglings. I'll actually put this Queen here just so I can move it in position to defend should I need, whenever I need it. Alright, let's see what units he has. He has roaches. So I'm exchanging drones for Zerglings, which is always a good idea in my opinion. Not exactly too much damage done, but I do have enough gas for 10 Mutalisks right now, which is kind of a big deal. I will get these upgrades because they're good, and they make my Zerglings able to go, I would say toe-to-toe with the roaches, with Mutalisk support, but it seems like it's moving out with a large number of roaches right now, so if we do get this set up properly, then we should be able to hold this off and win the game, because I'll eliminate his entire army. Still continuing the Zergling and Mutalisk production. I feel like we have enough Zerglings to lock his units in position. So let's get the Zerglings in position right now, and if he moves into the spines, then he is going to be in a world of hurt. Well, if everything's done properly, that is. So here comes the roaches. We'll see how this works. Alright, the roaches are being held in position by the lings while the mutas and spines go to town, and that was won very one-sidedly. I can't imagine what he does right now. It's just a trickle of reinforcements coming in right now, and our muta count is getting very, very high to handle, even for a Protoss with Phoenix on the field. So I don't really know what he can do at this point. One thing he should do is stop losing units because of this freaking trickle of units. Right now I feel like we should be able to attack with the Zerglings and clean up a lot of the Overlords with this. But we shouldn't get too cocky with this. We'll add on production and also take an expand. And potentially get our own Roach up. Still working towards this. Just a little bit out of position. So get the mutas out of there, and now we can, of course, kill these. Of course he doesn't have any Overlord speed, because you can't expect people to have that upgrade. It's just such a bad upgrade to get. And right now, if he wasn't behind before, then he's behind now. What we can do right now, Zerglings, of course, they're still tearing apart all of these stuff. We'll get these mutas out of there so that they don't die, and we'll take down the Roach Warren just so he can't get any more roaches. Get these mutas back. Roach Warren is down, so no more roaches for a while. Now all he will have is Zerglings, and we are on 3 bases, so I would say we are in a commanding position right now. Of course, this is all against the plat level players, so that doesn't exactly make me good at this game. So what should we get now? M and C for the upgrades that we need. And it seems like he is getting a lot of stuff, a lot of Zerglings and units, even though he's just lost all of that drones, which is not really something that you want to do. What you want to do right now is sort of take a risk and try to get as many drones as you can, or just lose the game, because you know you can't really come back from this. Now, I know that I'm ahead right now, so I want to secure my position being ahead by taking all these bases and also continuing with the macro. Because I know in the long run, I should be able to beat many players that are the same level as me. So even though this guy's a plat and is below me, that means I should win with even more certainty. This bad macro though, I need to fix that. So right now what I'm doing is just making sure that he doesn't have any more bases. And we'll try and do as much as we can right now. Oh, it looks like he has that third, so we can take down the third because that's not protected by all the spores. And if he gets his units out here, then the mutas will be in position to defend the Zerglings from further attacks. And it seems like right now he's just going to lose a couple more Zerglings to the mutas. And I'm going to destroy his third right now. I don't think I should start making any more mutas because I sort of have a good number of them, and they will serve the purpose of harassing and keeping my opponent on 1 base, which is sort of the main reason why I have these mutas, or actually on 2 base, because he kind of already has his natural, so of course 1 base not a viable option to contain him on. It's kind of a shame that we don't have the upgrades for these, but we are going to transition into the more standard Roach Hydra composition, which is good. Now I do have max supply, which means I should be able to very quickly get a large round of roaches out, should I choose to do that. And I'm going to choose that and try and end the game as opposed to saturate the third, because I know that I'm very, very much ahead of him in the macro. So getting that third base is not really as important as dealing damage to him right now. See, I can actually support all of this production off of my 2 base. So behind this attack is when I will actually try and get that base up. It seems like he's going his own Roach Hydra, which isn't a bad choice considering how he thinks he needs units to defend against us.
Mineral field depleted. Metamorphosis. We require more minerals.
Okay, so my units really should be moving out right now, but they're not, because they're sort of slacking, but that's okay. Now, I do have a lot of map vision, so if he tries to harass me with anything, not saying he can afford mutas, but if he do choose mutas, then I will be ready for that. Let's go ahead and move towards Infestation Pit so that I can move towards Hive Tech. Not for the Hive Tech itself, but for the level 3 upgrades, which is very important. It seems like it's trying to secure another base right now, but I do have a huge army moving out right now, and this should be the end of the game if I can read him properly. And really, he's on 2 base, so he can't really do much. So let's just go in and end the game right now. And we have more than enough resources to remax out this army if we need to. Yep, everything seems to be going down. Not such a bad CVZ, you know?